Recording on the computer. All right, guys, welcome to Monday Days. Monday Days, yeah, Monday's daytime, Dream Team Zoom. I don't know, it used to be Monday night. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Miss Lisa Cook and Miss Charlotte Shane because they are our two winners this week for their rewards points. They both got some credits in their Thrive accounts today to celebrate their participation for showing up. So please remember, if you have not filled out the entry form yet, that you're not officially entered. And if you're not officially entered, you can't win because you're not entered, basically. But again, this is just something I'm doing because I really want to reward you guys for showing up and working your business, because I know there are times where you show up and you work 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 and nothing's happening, right? But we all know something will come from it, but I know it gets frustrating. So I want to reward people in the process. So with that, I also want to say before we start this week's Zoom, last week's Zoom hopefully was very helpful. The last 2 weeks, I should say, was hopefully very helpful for a lot of you. I got a lot of comments. Some people did answer the question at the end of the Zoom and some people did not. So either they didn't answer because they didn't know how to answer it, or they didn't answer because they didn't watch it, which is always a possibility. Yes, you did send yours in last week, the person who just sent me that message. Okay, so before we start this week, does anybody want to say anything about the last couple of weeks? Has it been helpful? Are you showing up different? Are you noticing if you make the physical and mental change before you show up? Are you feeling different about your business or about yourself? Are you like, you can talk to me about it if you want, you can talk to the group about it if you want, you can mute, you can type, whatever, or you can all be shy.
Okay, I'll jump in really quick. So it's making me be even more intentional. You know how we've had those conversations where we think we're being intentional and then we look back and we do an audit. We're like, oh, what the heck was I doing?
Yep.
And so, and for those of y'all that know, my world is a turmoil, but so it is making me to be super more intentional. And last night I stayed up late, got my sheets ready, got my calendar ready. Y'all, I've got to do that. If I don't, I totally fail. And so by doing that, I've already gotten 20 follow-ups this morning before I even took my shower an hour ago. I've already done 11 reach outs, and actually probably more, but that didn't count them all. So it does force you to be more intentional. And then I kind of had forgotten about answering all those questions. So like on the Zooms and stuff. So I'll make sure I focus on that as well.
Yeah. No, you sent yours in. Charlotte says super helpful mindset is the main thing. Yes, for sure. And I know I told you guys that my goal is to talk about sales and becoming more productive in sales and being a better salesperson. And there's really no way to talk about that without talking about mindset. And so that leads us directly into this week's topic, which is the why not game. And you guys, I know we hear, I forgot about the question, Sonia. I know we hear a lot, like, what's your why? Like, if you know your why in sales, that you'll do better. But I'm here to say why. I want you to know your why not. And it's funny because I was just having a conversation with one of you today, and we were talking about how you're always learning, you're always trying to learn new ways to be better. And sometimes you need to see the bad so that you don't always, how do I explain this? So like sometimes we're always like, okay, how does so-and-so do this because she does such a great job? Well, every now and then there's a so-and-so that does a really shitty job. And that's also how you learn, right? You also learn what not to do when you're watching people and you're growing a business, right? So we're going to kind of take that route today. Actually, we're going to play the what not game. So before we start playing it, you can either unmute and tell me, or you can start typing in the chat. And I would love to see the chat blow up with this. What are some goals that you have had in your life that you are currently chasing? They could be business related, they could be personal, they could be relationship, they could be faith-based. I don't care. What are some goals that you are working on in your life right now? So start filling up that chat or talking, whatever makes you happy. Sonia says setting goals. I love you. Could you be a little more specific though? Are there some goals? Are there any goals you've had? I know there's goals because I have seen you want a motorcycle and get it. So I know you know how to set a goal and get it. So maybe a little more specific. Think. Brittany says buying a house. That's an awesome goal. And you guys, please don't think they have to be, Ronnie says a better home. Charlotte says being 12K business, being more mindful of my actions and intentions. Sonia says retirement by 60. See, you've got a goal retirement by 62. These are big goals. Let's talk about even some small goals. Could be down. Lisa says walk daily, eat healthy, lose weight, earn my auto bonus. Sandra says clean my house, organize, prepping my team page for the folks there, but also for the team that's coming. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to start working with, we'll start working with these. But before we dive into these, I'm going to give you an example of the why not game. Okay, so prep yourself. It kind of, sort of sucks. Auto bonus, build a barn garage. Nice. Oh, starting each day with gratitude and a blessed mindset. I'm going to do a very simple example, be more consistent in my business. I'm going to do a very easy example, and I'm going to stop watching the chat for a second so I can focus. One that we'll all understand. Okay, how many times in your life have you said or thought, man, I need to lose 10 pounds, or man, I wish I was at a better weight. Look, I said I wouldn't look and I just cheated and looked. So right, like most people can say, I want to get into a size smaller pant, or I want to fit into my, like, right, there's math is hard. There's 8 women on here right now. So I know women know what I'm talking about, right? So let's pretend that you have said, I want to get into I want to get into last year's jeans. Maybe last year's jeans are a size smaller than what you are right now, right? So we know why, right? We want to feel better. We want to look better. We want to save money by not buying pants, right? We know why we want to do that. So now let's play the why not game. Why not? Why aren't you already fitting in those jeans? Why not? What are the choices that you have made on a daily basis that are your why nots that you're not fitting in those jeans? And again, this is a very basic example because I want us to get our mind wrapped around what, like, the dissecting we're going to do here. One person could be like, well, because I'm not watching what I'm eating, or I'm not moving my body, or I'm not paying attention to the scale, or I'm not like there's the basic, there's like the canned answer, right? Okay, well, now we're going to really get in there. Okay, so I'm not watching what I'm eating. Why not? I'm having fun living out my life. I'm too upset with myself to pay attention to what I'm eating. I'm eating whatever I want because I'm using food as medicine. Okay, well, so see, we're going to dive deeper and deeper and deeper. So I'm going to break some of these down. Courtney says, personal is building back our savings account after buying our house. Woo, houses are expensive. Business is not focusing on rank, but increasing volume each month. Monthly PPA of 3, qualifying for Vegas. Ronnie says it's easy to make excuses. It is. Sonny says I'm not focused and dedicated to achieving the goal. Okay. Brittany says being more courageous and brave in sharing Thrive. Okay. So I'm not going to call you guys out on your goals, but you've typed a lot in there, or maybe you've even thought of a goal that you didn't share, which is fine. They're like, some of us have goals deep in our heart that we don't share. I want you to start playing this game in your head. I'm going to walk you through. So I want you to think of the goal that you have not yet reached. What is the goal you have not yet reached? Okay, put it right here. What is the goal that you have not reached? I'm going to play this game with you. You guys know I have been in 80K for 8 years. 8. That's a long time, right? So my goal right here is 200K. So what is your goal? And again, it can be business or not, like you decide, but what is your goal? Why aren't you there yet? I want you to start thinking and or jotting these down. I'm going to jot mine down because I can't think and do this all at the same time and remember. Boy, that's a big sigh. All right, why not, Tammy? Why aren't you there yet? So think of your goal and then think, why not? Why haven't you accomplished that goal yet? Like, let me give you an example of where we're going with this. Let's say somebody says, I want to be a millionaire. Hard to do with a show. Yeah, it's okay, Charlotte. You keep shoveling. Somebody says, I want to have $1 million. Right. And in their mind, they're like, I'll never be a millionaire, blah, blah, blah. I'm never going to touch $1 million. But in reality, especially if you've got somebody in their 40s or 50s, if you were to add up every pay stub that's ever been attached to their name, they've had $1 million in their hands at some point in time. $1 million sounds like a lot. I'm going to not do the math because you guys know I'm not a math genius. Let's pretend that somebody, did I do that math right? Let's pretend somebody made we're going to say a very small salary of $23,000 a year. It would take them 43 years to get there, right? So it's not that you can't have $1 million. What happens is what you do with what you've been given, right? Are you following me here? So for example, like my first thing was, why am I not 200K yet? Well, my team is smaller and I'm having lower sales. Well, okay, so let me dissect that. Don't you guys love when you're in one of my therapy sessions? We do have a little bit of a smaller team than we used to, but that's an excuse because at one time when we were growing, right? Looks like we started here, we got really close to 200K, like team size. We got here team size, and we weren't close to 200K. So now we're back here. So the size of the team does not matter, right? It's the umph in the team. So I can't use having a smaller team as my excuse. So when I wake up every day and I'm like, oh my God, I just need 3 more fabulous promoters. Is that really what I need? Or maybe I need to dive in with the team I have, right? So do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is why we're going to play the what, why not game. So if you're like, I want to be a 4K and I'm not there yet, and you're like, well, I'm not there yet because I don't have enough promoters or I don't have enough sales. Well, why don't you have enough sales? What are you doing with time given or the sales that have been given to you? So for example, let's say you have 5 customers and that's not enough. I mean, unless they're like spending a ton of money every month, 5 customers is not enough to get you to 4K. However, in this business, 5 customers is enough to add on an additional, what do we get for every 2 customers? They get something for free, right? So if you take those 5 customers and they bring in 2 customers each, suddenly you have 15 customers. So maybe you don't have enough sales, but it's because you don't have enough sales. Like, I don't know enough people or I don't have enough customers. Is that the case, or are you not working the business correctly? Right? Do you see where I'm going with this? Brittany says 7 layers of why. I've done this before. Fear of being misunderstood is one of my big things that holds me back. Absolutely. When I look at why am I not at 200K yet? Because I very honestly have gone up and down in the business, my own business, as standing loud and proud. It's weird to say this, and I know a lot of you will be like, shut up, but I think you'll also get this. There are days where I'm like, I have been embarrassed to be 80K. Because like I told you, I've been there for 8 years. It's not like it just happened and we're celebrating it, right? And some of you get that. Some of you have been like, yeah, I've been 12K before, now I'm not anymore. Or I've been 4K before, but I'm not anymore. And so then when you hit 4K the next time, you're kind of quiet about it. You're not as proud of it as you should be, or as you can be, or you're not celebrating the little things. And that goes, when I say that out loud, it sounds dumb, doesn't it? But how many of you have done that? Because you like, oh, I should have already done this, or oh, I shouldn't have lost the rank to begin. Like, right? You start shooting yourself. You start shooting all over yourself, and you start being fearful of what people are going to think about you. Like, oh, wait, why is she celebrating that? I thought we celebrated that last year. Like, I don't understand. Right? Do you guys see where I'm going with this? It's those layers that you've got to break down to get to the real reason why. Because if you can get through your own bullshit, and you guys all know we all have our own bullshit, right? It's all up here and we put it all around us to protect us like a little pile of poo. But in reality, it's not protecting us. It's keeping us stuck inside and stinky. So we have to get through those layers. So your goal is right here. What is the goal? So for example, I was having a conversation with my sister the other day about, yes, you got to own your own bullshit. Yeah, Charlotte. I was having a conversation with my sister. One of our friends is, she's worked really hard to get her like her health together, and she's still really struggling with her weight. And so she had talked to a doctor, and a doctor wanted to put her on some medicine, and we were like all kind of debating the pros and the cons of being on medication, the end game, the long term, blah 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 blah. And my sister was like, well, would you ever take it? And I was like, I can't even answer that question, because here's the truth. I'm carrying around extra pounds right now, but I know why. I didn't wake up today and go, golly, why are those pants tight? I know why they're tight. I know exactly what food I put in my mouth, right? So when you're ready to own your own bullshit, that's when it's easy to talk yourself through these things. So if I said to you, man, I really want to lose 10 pounds, but then I woke up and told you that I know why I'm not losing 10 pounds, wouldn't you be like, that's talking out of both sides of your face, right? And so that's where you have to look in the mirror and realize, what sides of your face are you talking out of? When you say, I'm going to be 4K, okay, why aren't you? Are you not going live? Are you not talking about samples? Are you not hosting locals? Are you not interviewing people? Are you not reaching out or doing your reach outs and your follow-ups? Right? I bet there are some of you that'll go, well, I did them Monday and Wednesday, but now Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, I was so busy. And then Saturday I did them, but I didn't get them all done. Right? Or maybe you're like, no, Tammy, I did all of my reach outs 7 days a week. I never miss them. Okay, well, A, are they good? Maybe not. Maybe you're not actually asking questions. Maybe you're not actually doing a conversation starting, right? And so maybe it's not a matter of your effort as much as your training, or I'll say your intelligence. So like if I was beating my head against the wall, doing my reach outs every single day, over and over and over, and never missing a day, and not getting any feedback or any conversations from people, then that's when I would be like, maybe my reach outs aren't conversation starters. I could learn, I could read a book, or I could listen to a podcast, or I could do some sort of training where I learn how to start conversations so that my intelligence raises. Because if my intelligence gets better, then my conversation starting is going to be better. And that's going to lead to that work actually being productive. Does that make sense? Like there are some people on here who are masters at conversation, but not at consistency. And then there are some people on here who are masters at consistency, but not at conversation. So what is it? What is your why not? And you can share with us if you want in the chat, or you can keep it to yourself, but whatever your goal is, why not? When you really start asking yourself, why am I not there? Why am I not where I want to be? You guys, we're all going to have, I mean, I could look at my last 8 years and be like, shoo, I'm not 200K because of life. I've had some serious life in the last 8 years. My toes are stepped on. Charlotte, welcome to a training with Tammy, where I step on people's toes and hurt their feelings. Don't worry, I step on my own toes in the process too. But it would be really easy for me to say, life got in the way. And there are times in life where you will be blindsided. You guys all know that. Consistency, but not conversation, says Lisa. Okay, so she's consistent, but wants to improve her conversations. So and I'm just going to ask you this, and I know you're at work, so if you can't answer this, is that something you've ever thought about before? Had you ever been like, man, maybe I need to be better at conversations? Or were you just like, I'm doing my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know why this business isn't panning out, right? Like, is that something that you've thought through before? Maybe she's busy. Anyway, but so I want you to start digging a little bit deeper and thinking more about what it is that, yes, I've struggled with bridging. Oh yeah, you know what? That's true. We've talked about that, where you're like, Lisa struggles with, at what point do you take the conversation into Thrive versus having a regular conversation? So here's my question, Lisa. And again, I promise I'm not picking on you. It's just easy because you're answering my questions. We've talked about it before. You're saying that's your problem. When did you seek out some sort of training or book or podcast about that topic to get better? Ronnie said, I had a darn good May. Then in June, I had 6 auto ships canceled. I took it personally and I fell off. I love how you worded that. I took it personally and I fell off. That's really the whole purpose of this particular why not game, is because until you can get to the point where you say, I chose this, or I chose not to do this, that's the key to success, you guys. It's so back to what I was saying. It's so easy to say life. I have seen people lose their loved ones and choose to keep moving forward. Chastity Marie. How many of you guys know who I'm talking about when I say Chastity Marie? Hell, Sonia Whalen. She's on here. Let's give her props. People have lost loved ones and chose to keep moving forward. And then you see people who, I don't know, this sounds awful coming from me too, but like they lost their dog and they need the next 3 months off. They cannot do this job, right? Everything is a choice. How life comes at you. I mean, some people will tell you that everything in life is the result of your choices and your thoughts up to that moment. But I feel like when someone leaves the earth unexpectedly or even expectedly, Lisa said, I just downloaded the Psychology of Selling with Brian Tracy on Friday. So Lisa made the choice to up her education, and that is where success will come from. These are such good. This is so good. You guys keep talking to me. So Ronnie, where you said you had a great May, and then you took it personally and you chose to, you fell off. So I know it. So let's reword that a little bit. You didn't fall off. You chose to step off, right? Like we're going to be honest. And I've done it. I've had people send me nasty messages before, like, take me off your Thrive list. That crap doesn't work. And I'm like, oh my God. And I literally like step off the train for a little bit and I have to, which is so dumb. It's so dumb. When I tell you that I step off the train because somebody is offended by Thrive, are you like, what the hell? Right? But I do. I've stepped off. I've gotten quiet before. There have been times I could think back in the last 8 years where I didn't post for a few days because somebody hurt my feelings or yelled at me or whatever. Right? Charlotte says, I'm finishing How Are You Really? And I have the Power of One and the Road to Yes waiting patiently on me. Sonia says, I do the same. Yeah. So oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was trying to type and it was taking me too dang long. So I have the Power of One more downloaded. And on my long road trip the other day to Michigan and back, I listened to that. And y'all, there were so many aha moments. And I've got the book, chapter 5 and 6. I got to go back and highlight, because what he talked about is you've got these goals and so forth, but what are your standards? Okay, I've got these goals, but what are the standards I'm going to hold myself to? And I was like, oh, smack in the face, and so I was sending Lisa and Tammy all these messages, and she's like, oh, I love this. She's like, this is like a book club, like right here, what have you. I mean, that Sonia, the book I'm talking about is The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. And listening to him read it, phenomenal. Now I'm going to go back and have him read it, and I'm going to highlight chapter 5 and 6. That's it's what standard are you holding yourself to?
Yeah. So let's put this into a perspective where it makes sense. So we're talking business, right? So we're talking about your standards in business, the why nots, like what decisions are you making? What choices are you making that are keeping you from no one can look at me like I'm not 4K because XYZ won't let me, or XYZ blah blah blah. Because here's the thing, if you put yourself in the mind, you're getting ready to earn your very first auto bonus. I'm getting ready to do the shout out, right? I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, who should I pick on? I'm going to pick on Courtney. Oh my gosh, Courtney Summers is getting ready to get her auto bonus for the first time, and I'm going to do a shout out. I'm not going to get on there and be like, Courtney got her auto bonus because her upline Samantha Cox did XYZ for her and her husband Mike Summers supported her. Right? And if I did, I'm sure she would be pissed. She'd be like, no, I did the work. Yet, so many of you are like, I can't hit 12K because my upline doesn't help me do this and my husband doesn't support me. Let it sink in, because I know it stings. We're very quick to blame people for where we are not in our life. But when we see ourselves getting to that point in our life, we're not praising those people, right? We're not ever saying they're the ones that got us there. Right? So if you're mad at your upline for some reason, if you're mad at your cousins, aunts, whatever, who made fun of you at the family reunion, is that person going to be the one who gets you where you want to go? Is that the one you're going to praise when you get there? Then don't put any stock into anything they've said, right? Like, think about that. All right, so let's keep talking about the why not. Oh, Charlotte came inside. She must have got hot. She had been out there working. Brittany says it's easier to blame than look in the mirror. 1,000% And I remind myself anytime I'm like, oh, I can't do this because. So I have this gets way beyond this, but I have a really bad red leg on this team. And it would be very easy for me to say, oh, it's because, it's so-and-so's fault because they didn't explain to me how this works, or it's so-and-so's fault because they told me to move these people and I shouldn't have. But you guys, it comes down to the fact that when I clicked the buttons, I moved the people, right? I shifted the lines. I created the red leg. Did I create it in the moment? No. Did I know it was coming? No, but I did it. And so I could spend time and energy mad at someone else. But here's the thing. Someday when that red leg isn't around anymore and we do hit 200K, I'm not praising those people, right? I'm not going to praise those people. I'm going to be like, oh my God, we did it. We did it. I'm going to praise my team. So who do I need to be focused on? My team, right? Who are you spending time and energy focused on when you need to be focused on something else? What choices and decisions are you making? And it could be as simple as, oh, I didn't have time to get my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 done today. But then if you really looked at your day, you had time to scroll Instagram for 30 minutes and you had time to watch an hour-and-a-half movie. It's a choice. It's a decision. We talked about this last week. If you are not where you want to be in your business, then you got to show up differently. If you want to get to a place in your business where you can scroll Instagram all damn day and you can watch as much Netflix as you want, right now you're going to show up different, right? You're going to have to show up. You're going to have to, it's called sacrifice. It's called decisions. It's called living the life that you really want to live. And it's not weird, but it's funny to me how the human psyche works, because there are things in my life that, hell or high water, I didn't listen to anybody. I didn't stop my goals, dreams, or so something as simple as, let's say you want to paint your, I'll do it. You want to paint your entry black as night, black as black gets. I didn't ask my husband. I didn't need his assistance filling the holes, taping off the shit. I didn't need his money to go buy the paint. I didn't look back. I didn't ask anyone else's opinion, right? I went and did it. That was my goal. I had my blinders on and I did it. I let nothing stand in my way. But then something like, I'm going to hit 12K. Well, my husband thinks it's a pyramid scheme. My husband says I'm spending too much time away from the family at night. He wants me to sit and watch a movie with him. My kids want me to, I don't know. I don't have kids. I don't know what kids want. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so it's very easy for us to make the choice we really want to make, but then blame it on other people is basically what I'm saying. So I want you to think about that. Start thinking about what choices are you making, but putting that blame on someone else, whether they know it or not, right? How many times have you blamed the kids or your husband and they're not even in the room. They don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Oh, we can't come Friday night for drinks because my husband's got something else, right? Like you're using someone as an excuse. They don't even know, but you do that. And some of you do it in your minds and your hearts and your brains. Like you never even voice it. Like, oh, I can't go to that local this week because, well, my husband, he's got this, that, and the other going on. And he was going to want me to be home Thursday night. I shouldn't go. Right? Like some of you are doing that. Some of you are doing that. When in reality, is it your husband or you just don't want to go? Because here's the thing. The sooner you get honest with yourself about, I just don't want to go. It's got nothing to do with my husband. I just don't want to go. then you can be really honest with yourself. Well, if I don't want to go to something like a local on a Thursday night, do I really want to be at 12K? Because maybe you don't, and that's okay. These are your goals. I'm not here to put goals in anyone's head. That's why I said you think of your goal and what it is, and then really start asking yourself, why not? Just like I said, like the excuse of I want to look better in my bathing suit while you're having nachos with cheese and drinking a pina colada that's 1,000 calories, right? So start thinking about this. Let me go back to some of that. I'm missing some of this chat. I guess it's so easier to let the naysayers influence your actions and thoughts. I'm learning to say F off to those voices all the time. I'm going to the local, come you know what, or come hell or high water is what she's trying to say. Yeah, so this kind of goes back to how you show up for your business, right? Like everything from who is your alter ego that doesn't put up with excuses. And I know when we talked about this a couple weeks ago, we talked about like other people's excuses, but today I want to talk about your excuses. What excuses are you feeding yourself? What bullshit are you feeding yourself? Where do you need to take a good hard look in the mirror? I'm sure every single one of us on here could be further in our business if we had our head down and we called ourselves out on the crap that we're doing. Like I straight up an hour before this, I was like, I need to prep for this. And I got lost in wall murals on the website. There, I call you right. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say I didn't have time. I turned on my computer and that was the ad that popped up. And next thing I knew, there I was. So it's a matter of self-discipline. It's a matter of choosing the time. Brittany says, I find it hard to know when to push and when to be compassionate because constantly telling yourself you're not doing enough can just keep you stuck. Does that make it does make sense? And so that's when it's not really a matter of pushing, it's a matter of asking the question. So if you're pushing yourself towards a goal that deep down you don't really want, then that's where it becomes like a toxic situation. But if you truly, honestly, in your gut of all things, you're like, this is what I want my life to be. And why am I not there? Well, it's because I'm letting myself watch too much TV. Or why am I not there? It's because I'm listening to people instead of listening to my heart. Why am I not there? It's because I'm not taking the time to train myself or to get better or to practice. If it's truly your goal and it's truly what you want in life, if you don't get there, the regret that you will have for the rest of your life will eat you alive way more, way more than any other kind of toxic relationship. But when it's a matter of, and I guess I can say this because what we do as Thrive Promoters, like it's not brain surgery. We're not like literally saving people's lives. I'm saying, are you showing up to a local? Are you showing up to do a Facebook Live? Are you doing your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you got to run a 32 miles every day and then eat nothing but 4 ounces of chicken in the afternoon. Like, I don't want you to push yourself to some physical, horrible place where you get sick. But this is where like when that rub starts to happen and you start to feel like I'm pushing too hard, that could be a red flag. Maybe you're like, let's take, for example, I'm going to semi pick on you. Like you're newer, right? This is a new business to you. And maybe you're like, oh, I got to earn a trip and I got to get the car and I got to do it all before August. And maybe you're pushing and it feels bad and you're rubbing yourself the wrong way. Maybe that's a matter of reevaluating. Okay, I don't have to be on the first trip, and 4K might be where I should go by the end of August. So sometimes it's reevaluating your goals. But that's the thing. It's the hard conversation you have to have with yourself. Because again, when I have been passionate about something in my life and I really wanted to get there, I mean, I think you could talk to anybody who has had a success, whatever that success might be. It could be anything from singing in public for the first time to running a mile for the first time. It's the goal that they wanted. They worked their way there. And when it was over, they were like, it was worth every agonizing voice lesson practice. It was worth every agonizing sweat dripping down my face because I got to where I wanted to go. So yeah, if you're pushing yourself to a goal that you're not really truly ready for, then there could be some toxic behavior there that you need to like stop and ask. So if you're like, why am I not there yet? And you're like, well, because it's there and I don't even know the 4 steps to get there. I only know the first step. Then maybe you've got a goal that's too big for you right now. We'll call that a dream. I think goals that are really, really big are your dreams. And the closer you step up the other goals, you get closer to your dream, right? It gets more real. Sonny says, I always feel unworthy and like I'm not good at being an entrepreneur. How many of us on here, show of hands or nods or whatever, how many of us have felt that? So I think for that particular thing, it's just important to acknowledge that we all feel that way. I've been an entrepreneur now since I was 26 years old. I have not had a paycheck handed to me since I was 26. And not a day goes by that I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this. I don't know if I really know what I'm doing. Smoke and mirrors here. I got a lot of personal development happening so I can act like I know what's happening, but sometimes I really don't know. So I think it's okay. I think it's okay to say I feel unworthy, but you got to remember who you are and whose you are. And he made all of us worthy. And if you put it in your heart to use a business to grow your life and the life of other people around you, then that's where you have to start asking myself, what kind of decisions am I going to make to get closer to where I want to go? So if you're looking at this business as a way to get out of debt, which shout out, we have a promoter on here who paid off her credit card this week. And if you've never paid off a credit card full or paid off your house or paid cash for something, it sucks beforehand and you got to make a lot of decisions that you don't want to make because you want all the fun things and you want to do stuff and go places and you got to say no. But then you get to that point where you're like, all those decisions, all that sacrifice, all that focus brought me to this new freedom. Brittany says, I really struggle with setting goals and coming up with my why, but I think that's my way of avoiding failing. Yes. There are so many people who are like, I'm afraid to fail. No, you're afraid of success. It is a real thing. It is very much a real thing. I have had people look me dead in the eye and say, oh, I don't want to be 12K. They could literally be sitting at $11,999. They're like, I don't want to be 12K. I'm like, why? Well, what do you mean? Like, we just need $1. What do you mean? It's like, it's too much work. I can't do it. I won't be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to, I can't do it. People are afraid of success. And I get that because with success comes responsibility. But with success comes freedom. And there comes an ability to change the world around you in such a better way. Everything from like your day to day can be different because let's say you're debt free. Think about that. Wake up with no bill. No bill. There's no mortgage. There's no car payment. There's no credit card payment. How do you think that feels to wake up versus how you're waking up right now? Right? There's like a peace, there's like a calmness, there's like a relief. So that's a feeling that this gets really deep into my therapy, but that is a feeling, that peaceful, calm, relaxing feeling. That is not a feeling a lot of people know or understand because we are raised in chaos. I come from a very big family. It's just me and my sister, but we have a huge family. We were raised on the spot in a family business with trucks going by and people coming in and out, and it was constant chaos. I'm very comfortable in the chaos. You get me in a quiet room, I'm very awkward. So sometimes it's just a matter of accepting like that's new. Success is a new feeling. This is Courtney. Success was scary to me because I never grew up seeing, that's what I just said. I never grew up seeing successful parents. They always struggled financially. I didn't know any different. I'm breaking that generational curse. Yeah, so exactly what I was just saying. Courtney grew up in a house where there was never enough money. And so why would you ever have everything that you need or get everything that you want? Why would you ever even think I'm going to have a house someday? Because somebody would have told you that couldn't happen. So sometimes the success is literally breaking out of a pattern first. Brittany says people cling to the familiar. Yes, even when that comfort is suffering. Yes. See, here's my thing. When I read your guys's chitty chat over here. You all know what we're talking about. You all understand this deeply in your heart. And it's a lot like me. I understand it. I've been through a shit ton of therapy and I could talk you guys off the ledge. But where the rubber meets the road is knowing and doing. And that's why I want you to play this why not game. I want you to spend some time in the next 48 hours. Yeah, yes, knowing and implementing it. That's the hard part. I want you to spend time in the next 48 hours. I want you to pick one business goal. One business goal that you have. It could be, I just want to be consistent in my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I just want to go live on Facebook for the first time. It could be something like that. Or it could be like, I want to get to Vegas. I want to have my auto bonus. Like you pick your one business goal. Today is Monday. By Thursday, I want you privately, you're not sharing this with the world. You're privately going to share with me. Here's my goal. I've done a lot of soul searching and here's why I'm not yet there. Now, please don't say, for example, my goal is to get my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 done every day. And the reason I'm not there is because I'm not getting it done every day. No shit, Sherlock. Right. Yes, I know that's why. I want you to dig deep. Why aren't you getting it done? What choices are you making instead? Why are you making those choices, even though you know those choices don't get you closer to your goal? Right. That's the kind of stuff I want to hear back from you. Not trying to be a smart aleck, but it's in my bloodline. So we went way over. Good thing we didn't have a lunch and grow today. I hope this made you guys think, like really start thinking, looking in the mirror. Can you say that first part over? You're going to pick one business goal that you haven't accomplished. And you're going to spend the next 48 hours deep in thought with pen and paper, quiet room, whatever you need, right? And you're going to say, I'm not at this goal because, but then go below that because. So I'm not turning in my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 because I'm busy. Well, why are you busy? What choices are you making that make you so busy that you don't have time to do what you're wanting to do? Right? Or I'm not doing this because so-and-so says I can't do it, or so-and-so needs me to do something else. Well, let's get a little deeper. Why are you choosing so-and-so over you? Okay. And if you have questions, you guys can always private message me, but I want you to private message me by Thursday. Obviously, there's a lot of points attached to this for the rewards program. Just your goal and why you're not there and what you really thought about and what you're going to do to change it. Because we can all think about it all damn day, right? We could literally be philosophical and we could do this all day. I want you to say, here's where I'm not. Here's the bullshit in my head that's keeping me there. And here's what I'm going to do to dig myself out of it. Okay? Because all of you are capable of reaching your goals. Every last one of you. There's not a single person on here who could not hit 12K. Excuse me, not a single one of you. Some of you have hit it before. So why aren't you hitting it now? Some of you have hit 4K before, but why aren't you hitting it now? Some of you have earned trips before, but why aren't you earning it now? Some of you have turned in your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on a daily basis before, but why aren't you now? Some of you have had 4 new customers a month, but why aren't you now? Whatever the goal is, I'm just making stuff up. All right, that's it. I hope it helped. I am going to put the recording on the YouTube. So if there's someone from your team who isn't on here, but they want some rewards points, or they are buying their own bullshit in the moment and we want them to stop that, you can share the recording with them from my YouTube. So see you guys next Monday. Bye.